Hi, today I want to speak to you about the coronavirus, and more specifically how the Jewish world should have reacted to the crisis. And no, I'm not a doctor, I'm just using common sense and the same sources of information available to all of us to form my conclusions. And I am ashamed to say that the Jewish leaders have grossly overreacted regarding how careful one should be in such a crisis. I mean, before even the churches and the mosques were shut, the synagogues were shut. The state of Israel was one of the first countries to require a 2-week quarantine and one of the first to put the whole country on lockdown. And it is safe to say that the Jewish people are a nervous people. And this also applies to all other nations that have followed suit. That's not to say that such reactions are never warranted, but rather, in a crisis like this one, anyone with the numbers in front of them should be able to tell that we've gone too far. And as clergy, I want to take a moment to say how utterly useless the religious response has been in such a crisis. I mean, if you can't count on your local rabbi or religious leader to keep you calm in such a crisis, who could you count on? I mean, forget about the media. They have a vested interest in all this and getting everyone riled up, from destroying Trump's economy to increasing their ratings with hysterical, inaccurate reporting. Yes, friends, I can honestly say that we lack leadership and that even our religious leaders have encouraged the hysteria. How? Well, at least in the Jewish world, tying this all to some end-time messianic prophecy, instituting national fasts, spreading Kabbalistic amulets and images that one should look at to protect them from the virus, blaming this all on Lashon Hara, cries that the end is near and that one must make Aliyah now, closing shuls even before they were required to, ending all these early open-air minyanim just to be safe. Heck, even mikvot have been closed and weddings have been canceled. And now people are even speaking about skipping Pesach, with no debate, no asking what is the price our religion or even our country will pay because of all this. Just close the economy and even close Judaism when millions have lost their jobs. And yes, this might even mean, God forbid, the end of the US itself. All running on the silly notion of better safe than sorry. When, friends, the truth is that this is not any more catastrophic than the common flu. And also, one profession that should be loathed the most at this time and having a part in feeding all the hysteria, apart from the media, are trial lawyers. On so many people who closed their businesses because they were scared of being sued. Friends, we are in need of leadership. But till we find some, here is how you could put your common sense to work in such a situation. Friends, all you have to do is compare this with the swine flu of 2009, where 61 million Americans got infected and 12,500 died. And there was no shutdown. Or the common flu that infects 40 million Americans yearly and kills about 60,000 yearly. Again, with no shutdown. Now, to date, in the US, there are 135,502 people who have been infected with the coronavirus, and about 2,400 that have died. And really, the only number we can be certain about with that ratio are the deaths, because many Americans have not been tested, which could only decrease the lethality of the virus, because if more people have it, then the percentage of people dying goes down. Not too hard to figure out. So we have to ask, because I'm sure you're all familiar with these online charts, counting every new person that's been diagnosed and every person that has died. Why no online charts for all those who've died from the flu this year? Because clearly those numbers would be much scarier. Not to mention that the majority of all those who are dying are males, post-70, and those who have pre-existing terminal conditions. And I know someone with the mindset that's common today will say, what do you know? I just read about a teenager or a baby dying from it yesterday. Friends, this is not how newsworthy statistics are developed. I could get it and die from the virus a month from now. That would not change the fact that the virus predominantly only affects a certain group of people. So it begs the question, why in the hell have societies been able to function through the swine flu and yearly influenza numbers, but now that we have a conservative in office, does the media and the supposed experts demand that we shut down the economy and virtually every aspect of social life in order to survive? Not to mention that one of the stupidest moves of all is closing schools. I mean, why are schools closed when children are the least likely to get it and now are forced to stay home, giving them more contact with the elderly who, if they get infected with the virus or some other virus from the child, could die? This is stupidity, my friends. Not to mention that one of the main reasons shutdowns were never imagined in the past was because it is actually one of the worst ways to eradicate a virus quickly, i.e. by slowing it down, one only prolongs the spread. But still, the left insists that society should remain shut down till we eradicate the virus. Friends, more people will die because of the hysterical shutdown than because of the virus. So stop encouraging the nonsense. And surgical masks, in terms of protecting you from the virus, actually do nothing. What it does do is shorten the supply of them so that hospitals who actually need them can't get them. Also, hoarding toilet paper does nothing either. So what should be implemented? What should be implemented is that if you are elderly, you should make every attempt to protect yourself. And if you have some pre-existing medical condition, you should also make every attempt to protect yourself. And the rest of society should go on with life. That's it, and that's all.